Yes, on nutrition today, we are joined by Dr. Tobi. She is the Managing Director of Quincy Wellness and Naturopathic Center. She's also a physician of naturopathic and traditional medicine. And today we're looking at the myths around organic diets, or should we say organic foods?
Yes. How are you?
I'm very well. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Same here. Thanks for being here. Quickly, let's get right into it. Organic foods. What are organic foods?
So organic foods pretty much mean foods that were grown without the use of pesticides, without the use of hormones, without the use of, well, foods that, so that means plants and animals that were grown without hormones, pesticides, preservatives, and things like that.
So is what the people refer to as GMO fruits. Just genetically modified.
So that's even different. So you can have genetically modified foods and not necessarily that are organically grown.
Oh, okay.
So organically grown versus organic foods are two different things.
Okay.
So you can have GMO foods that are organically grown, meaning they just threw it in the soil and let nature take its place, use natural manure and things like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not genetically modified.
Oh, great.
Yes, people genetically modify their foods to make better harvests, make a bigger chicken, or, you know, and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, great. But we're focusing today on organic foods. Now you have told us what organic foods are. What are these myths around them?
Okay, so a lot of people just think, oh, because it's organic, it means it's healthy for me.
Yeah.
And because it's healthy for me, it means I can eat unlimited amounts of it. Okay, so organic yam, all right, is still organic yam. If you eat a whole tuber, you're going to run into the same problems.
Which are?
Like diabetes, being overweight, you know, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, things like that. It's high in carbohydrates.
Yes.
And just eating too much of that is going to lead to having
some of these things.
Yeah, some of these things.
Okay.
Also, buying organic foods that are imported. I always talk about trying to buy local.
Okay.
It's much easier to be sure that your organic food is organic if you buy locally produced foods. So Nigerian orange, Nigerian yam. Like, I don't even know if there's something like a GMO yam right now, or a GMO, let's say, laden with pesticides. Our foods our fruits and vegetables are small, they spoil easily, and things like that, which is a good sign that is organic. So, you know, those are things that I always tell people to look for. Things that are naturally grown are usually made locally and close to where you are getting it from. Okay. Meaning, if you get something from Ogun State to Lagos, it's much fresher than getting something from Abuja to Lagos.
Oh,
yes.
Now, how do you know these things? Because if I'm going into the market and I see yam, even the seller does not know if it is organic or if, you know, it has been adulterated while it was, you know, in the good process or any of all of those things. So how do we identify these things even when we see them? So that then we know that, okay, it's better to go for this ones than to go for the other ones.
So I'll just say a few things. Things like apples. Okay. Usually, I'll say they're one of the most toxic fruits because they have to spray it with, you know, pesticides. They spray with, you know, wax, things like that to make it shiny. Okay. So it prevents it from spoiling. Okay. Those are one of the most toxic fruits. Okay. So I always tell people, try to stay away from apples as much as you can. Yes.
And yeah, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor
maybe
away.
That's in Igbo land. In Nigeria, it's an orange a day, a pineapple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay. Try to stay away from buying fruits from the supermarket and vegetables. Try to buy your fruits and vegetables
from their bookies.
From the market. Okay. So with the issue with the bookies is not necessarily that they're adulterating the composition of the food, but maybe the way they're preserving it, washing it with the bad water and things like that. I always tell people that anytime you buy your fruits or your vegetables, you always need to wash it with your own water before you take it because you're eating it raw, especially fruits. So always wash with your own water before you eat it. But if you're buying it from a market, there's a 90% chance that it's an organic food. Okay. Or, you know, then another thing with organic meats, people don't even think about that. Organic meat doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy. So if you're eating the soft chicken versus the hard chicken or local chicken usually is more organic than the broiler chickens because they have to give them hormones. Oh. So they can be soft.
And like
and
they
grow
really
within
healthy.
6 weeks and they are ready to be processed. Meanwhile, local chicken is like 6 months before you can process it because it's just on millet, corn, and things like that. So, you know, things like that. Then eggs is also something that usually isn't organic in Nigeria especially.
So how do I know if my eggs are organic?
If it wasn't,
because we consume eggs.
If it wasn't fertilized by a male chicken, that egg is most likely not organic because
how do we know? I really wish we could.
They feed the chickens with hormones to let it have a period every day, and that's the egg.
Okay.
So it's not, that one is not necessarily organic.
What would you advise that we do in this kind of, you know, situation, this kind of scenario? What do I do if I buy a non-organic egg? What do I do to it?
Just reduce how much egg you eat in Nigeria, or try and buy the guinea fowl egg, or try and look for the...
But it's expensive.
Yes, or try and look for the local eggs. Like they're smaller. They're usually much smaller. Ooh. Yes, they're much smaller. The yolk is yellower. Those kinds of eggs. Just try and look for those ones and reduce eggs in general. I just tell people reduce some things. If you're really into preventing hormones and antibiotics from entering your body, reduce eggs, dairy, milk. Milk is usually not
the canned ones.
Especially, oh my God, that's a whole topic on its own.
Ooh,
because a cow's milk is the breast milk of a cow for cow babies.
Yes.
And then now it's somehow dry, evaporated,
and then processed.
It's obviously not organic anymore. It's obviously not organic anymore.
So now talking about milk, what would you advise we go for?
Go for plant-based milk. So 95% of Africans are lactose intolerant, meaning we naturally cannot digest milk. We don't need it. Go for tiger nut milk, go for coconut milk, go for, I will not say almond milk because it's imported. So tiger nut milk, coconut milk, soy milk for women above 50.
Okay.
You know, those types of milks are things we can get into. Cashew nut milk, things like that.
Wow.
Yes.
Some of these options are very expensive. Like if you're like, okay,
you can make it at home.
Yeah, no, you can. But even coconuts are expensive because they're seasonal, and then when you see them, they're pretty expensive.
But chemicals are cheaper, so
I know.
You have to just think about the
Thank you so much,
yes.
Dr. Tobi. It's always a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
I know that someone watching has learned one or two things from today's conversation. Of course, it continues on social media, on all our social media platforms at TVC Connect, and of course, you can always tag Dr. Tobi. I'm sure you have some questions for her. We have to go now quickly. Take a break. We'll be right back, people. Stay with us.